Good morning, everybody. Quick presentation this morning. Lots of questions about great white sharks in the area around Cape Cod. We never had them before. How come they're here? How come now? So a very quick presentation we're going to call Great Whites on the Rise, or the subtle art of not being bitten. Because the one thing we don't want to do is to get bitten by a shark, if at all possible. There's a reason for that, and the reason we say bitten and not eaten, and we'll get to it. First thing you need to know is that there are over 400 species of sharks. Most of us know kind of the top six: the great white shark, the hammerhead shark, the black-tip reef shark, the white-tip reef shark, the dogfish, the mako shark, and then suddenly it drops off. A few might have seen the goblin shark, or my favorite name shark, the wobbegong. The wobbegong. Only in Australia could something exist called a wobbegong. Anyhow, again, most are under 3 feet long. The dogfish may be one of the most prevalent types of sharks out there, and it's a relatively small shark, and it's a bottom feeder and fairly harmless. We're learning lots about sharks as we go on, and while of course they have a reputation of a voracious predator, the University of Tasmania recently found one that eats vegetables. They found a shark that was snuffling around in the seaweed. They assumed that this was a shark that was hunting for urchins or crabs, and when they actually opened it up, they found out that its stomach was full of seaweed, the first known instance that they've been able to find. Also, chances are you've been swimming near a shark. Sharks come in many shapes and sizes. Skates and rays are a type of shark as well. And so if you've been in the ocean and you've been swimming, you may have been near some type of shark. So there's lots of different kinds of sharks. Most of them are very small. Most of them are harmless. And that's an important thing to think about when we're talking about why people are so scared of sharks. Why here? Why now on Cape Cod in the year 2018? All of a sudden the sharks are prevalent. Well, there's two things. All living things, kind of have two imperatives. One, they want to reproduce. And in order to reproduce and to be healthy and to be able to be appealing to the opposite sex, they need a food source. For me, that's probably, spaghetti and meatballs. For a shark, that's seals. So the prevalence of seals as a food source is what's bringing the sharks back. Everything works as a pyramid. It works its way up. And there's a couple of reasons why the seals have become so prevalent. One, the 1972 Marine Mammal Protection Act. This slide shows a sea lion colony in California. This number equally correlates with the gray seals here in Massachusetts and around Cape Cod. In the early 70s, there were maybe 100 gray seals left in the population. Now, on South Monomoy Island alone, they're saying there may be as many as 50,000. This was an act that was passed to prevent us from harassing or killing any marine mammals, so their population was able to start to increase. Also, we had Monomoy Island, which used to be attached to the mainland. People used to go out there, people used to fish, people used to hunt, and now the breaks occurred at different times and separated the island from the mainland. That means that South Monomoy Island is now a place where seals can eat and reproduce from the relative safety from man. They don't like to be around people. So they're down there, they're left alone, and they've been able to breed voraciously. The other is a management of something that we may not even consider the same, but it's important, is the fisheries management of the striped bass fisheries. You can see these numbers in 1982. The numbers were very low. They went to a high in 2006 and kind of dropped off a little bit as the population stabilized. Again, the sharks are looking to eat the seals. The seals are looking to eat the fish. As we increase the amount of fish and we give them kind of a private area to hang out in, the seal population explodes, and then they are here. As that population explodes, the sharks slowly make their way up, and right now we've got lots of kind of teenage sharks that are here getting a meal. Imagine, if you would, that you had a place where you could go and have all the Centarpio's pizza you wanted available all the time, 100%, 24 hours a day. You could just go get it. This is why the sharks are here. Seals are delicious. They are a shark's favorite food, and there's a couple of reasons for that. Sharks are a big animal. They need a lot of energy. Remember that they want to reproduce. The less time that they spend feeding, the more time they can spend reproducing. And they don't mate for life like we do. A great white shark may try to fertilize the eggs of a different female shark every single day. So, seal is 55% fat, okay? Slightly more than cream cheese, all right? Think about how delicious cream cheese is to you. That's the same thing that a seal is for a shark. On average, about 60 pounds of fat will last a shark 12 days. That means if a seal is 55% fat and it weighs 500 pounds, that's 265 pounds of fat that's available, and that's approximately 48 days of food. If a great white shark was able to fertilize the eggs of a different female every day, and say each of those female ended up having 6 offspring, that is hundreds of potential offspring in that time that they don't have to worry about eating, right? Seals are relatively slow. Even when they're being attacked and they're like, ah! Compared to a shark, they're kind of slow. Maybe 16 to 18 miles an hour in a panicked move to try to get away. That shark in a full charge can go 20 to 24 miles per hour through the water. I mean, they've got scales, they're sleek. I mean, they are an apex predator. So seals are slow, they taste delicious. That one meal lasts them a really long time, so they want to eat seals. That's important. They don't want to eat us. We do not have enough fat in our body for a shark to be that interested in consuming us. When a seal's body washes up on the beach, oftentimes you'll see that the outside has been eaten, but the bones and the guts are still there because all they want is that fat. Okay? Important. Here's a shark's favorite food. Look closely. Oh, sorry. This is South Monomoy Island, as the seals have begun to repopulate. This is a small stretch of beach. Another small stretch of beach. Just look at all that free food there waiting to be eaten by a shark. Again, Cape Cod, a survey indicates there's likely 30 to 50,000 gray seals in the region. I think we're definitely at that 50,000 number and growing. And as they grow, they spread. This is going to be too crowded soon. The seals are going to be looking for other areas to go. The sharks are going to follow those seals as they move along, right? Here's an interesting picture. You see the seals swimming in the surf, and that's a great white shark just offshore. I want you to look at the profile of those seals, because that's important, because sharks aren't really bright. They're a primal animal. They've got a small brain. This is what a seal looks like from below. Large flippers, tail flippers, and a head. Our gray seals are even a little fatter than this, so that's a little fatter. Another animal that sharks like to eat are sea turtles. Profile very similar, 2 flippers, feet, a head, kind of a wide body. And this is the reason we have so much trouble. We love to surf. If you had a teeny tiny little brain and not the greatest eyesight, and you saw that animal just sitting there on the top, not swimming very fast, it looks just like your favorite meal. And the shark comes up and takes what's called an exploratory bite. Remember, the shark does not want something that doesn't have a high fat content. They get a mouthful of board and a mouthful of muscle, and they spit it out. That is because of this organ called an ampullae of Lorenzini. It's a very specialized organ that the shark has. They're all over the head of the shark. There are these special pits that are filled with a jelly, like almost like a clear little, gelatin material with the nerve fibers on the bottom. It primarily detects electricity, but it's also an excellent chemical detector as well. They take a bite. Fat has blood, but not as much as muscle. They get that bite of a human, and it's a lot of blood and not much fat, and they let go. That's why we say bitten and not eaten, because very, very, very rarely is somebody actually consumed by a shark. This is the snout of a shark, and you'll see all those little pits are where those ampullae of Lorenzini are. Easy detection. They take a bite and they let go. Here's the problem with the bite. Just a taste. That's all they're looking for, like when you sniff something you've never eaten before. This is a tooth of a great white shark. It's a double-edged steak knife. And they've got hundreds of those in their jaw. They take a bite, they take a chunk, they let go. The other problem is that a shark is big. The next image is graphic. So if you don't like kind of graphic images, just be forewarned. Give it a second. We'll skip by it. Okay? It's the size of the bite. Sharks are a large creature. This gentleman was bitten by a reef shark. Look at that. Huge chunk of his arm taken out. Newcomb Hollow Beach, about a week ago, a young man was bitten and died. He was bitten on the leg. I'm going to bet you that his femoral artery was nicked or cut. Again, he looked like that profile of a seal to the shark. The shark took a bite, let go. The poor man bled to death. As humans and sharks interact at the water's edge, and people are surfing and wakeboarding and doing that activity, we can expect that more of this will occur. However, it does happen very rarely. Odds are, over the course of 2004 to 2013, we have some numbers here. We'll go the latest numbers. 2013, 72 people worldwide were attacked by sharks. 10 of those individuals died. There were many in Australia, a few in Hawaii, some in California. Very, very rare to happen on the East Coast, primarily because the East Coast has kind of been populated longer than any other place. And the one thing that we were able to do very effectively was kill almost everything in the marine environment. We killed all the seals, we killed all the whales, we killed the dolphins, we killed the sharks, and now those things are coming back. And so we have this problem of this interaction, which I'm sure some smart people can put their brains together and figure out a way to fix it that doesn't involve killing all of it all over again. Here are some interesting numbers. Should we fear sharks? In the United States, number per year on average, 1 person gets killed by a shark in the United States. 1. 3 people die in sand pits. 20 people die bitten by dogs. 747 people die on bicycles. Peter Benchley did not write a novel that Steven Spielberg turned into a movie called Spokes. We're not terrified of bicycles. We didn't demonize bicycles. Also, 6,000 people a year die falling in the shower. We're not terrified of taking a shower. So that is some interesting numbers there about how because sharks have been demonized, they're one of those primally fearful animals. We're absolutely terrified. But the chances of you being attacked by a shark, if you're smart, don't be on a surfboard, don't be on a wakeboard. Try to pay attention to where you're swimming. Make sure you're in an area where there's lifeguards and people watching out. You're going to be safer than you would be riding a bicycle. Here's an important number. Sharks kill 12 people per year, while we kill 11,417 sharks per hour. We kill dogfish for food and vitamin E. basking sharks for vitamin E. Sharks get caught on long lines for swordfish and tuna. They get trapped in nets that fishermen are using. They get shark finning as a small part of that as well, where they fin the sharks, cut off the fin, and then the shark is just left to die. So if there was an animal that had a reason to maybe kind of want to get revenge on humans, it might be sharks. But that's not the way it works. The presence of an apex predator, which a great white shark is, shows that the recovery efforts of an ecosystem are working, that the recovery efforts have helped create an ecosystem where they can be supported all the way up to an apex predator. That's important. It's important, and we should continue to try to make that happen and try not to be terrified of sharks. I hope that I've helped you give a little information today. Check out our website, www.capecodlearningtours.com, for more information about our stuff, and check out the weekly critter page for some more stuff about great white sharks, which are topical in the news. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you next time.